Dave from the Redneck Garage. Well, today, instead of just starting on tearing down the front end, I thought that I would do some cleanup. I'm going to show you a little clip of this, but underneath the Jeep where I was working on the frame, it looks like a huge pigsty. It looks like dirt or mud, and it's actually what's left of the old frame, the rust and stuff that I ground off. So I got to clean that up. It's nasty because I'm going to start prepping underneath the cab itself. I've got some Eastwood products for prepping that, and we got some stuff in. I got some new U-joints for the 4 U-joints on the drive shaft, and got my new motor mounts in. These are the 4-cylinder mounts that I'm going to mount on this frame. Rather than trying to cut those old ones off, I thought that I would just order some new ones, and I may cut those off and try to sell them on eBay. I don't know yet. Depends on how easy they are to get off. But I do know this, that it's going to be easier to determine the exact placement of these without cutting them off of that. So if I can measure on that one and then transfer it over here, that'll be much easier than trying to cut those off and then try to get it in the same spot. So I'm going to get started. Well, it's pouring down rain. I don't feel like getting that wet. I've got a couple parts in my ultrasonic bath that are eating the rust away with very little effort. That's awesome. And I got my bionic shield in today. It's anti-fog. I'm going to be working on the bottom side of the cab once I get the rest of that frame piece out. And I wanted something that would keep all that garbage from falling into my face. There's a couple little spots that need to be welded up, another piece of sheet metal, and the floor pan on the driver's side needs a little bit of repair. I've got some Eastwood undercoating, so that's really super cool. With the frame out, I'll be able to really address that pretty quickly to get that all coated and ready to go with some rust encapsulator rubberized paint on the bottom. Awesome! I know I've told y'all a million times about the electrolysis bath, but these are 2 brackets that hold the stabilizer on the rear, and almost all the rust is gone. I'm going to leave them in there overnight, and then they should be ready to wash. But as I'm going along, I just keep dumping stuff in my electrolyte bath and just letting it sit, and all these little parts that are rusted up are getting out really super clean. Okay, well that looks 100% better underneath. Got all that rust and crap up for the most part. Once I'm done with it, I can pressure wash it again, throw some muriatic acid on. But pressure washed off the transmission and it looks a little bit better. At least there's not all that garbage underneath, so when I get underneath to work on the body, I won't get just covered in dirt as soon as I sit down. So anyway, I can live with that. It looks so much better. Once we get this frame out, I'll have a pretty clean workspace to get up underneath the cab to do some of that rust repair on it. Got to start doing some measurements on these motor mounts and see exactly how I'm going to have to configure those, because they are a little bit different. If you look at this old one, this plate here is actually an extra plate that they weld in between this plate and that one, which I didn't know that, but that's the correct plate for this side. I'm going to go ahead and cut these frame rails off and get them out of the way. What the heck? That just got a front end, man. How cool is that? Front end over to the new frame. I'm going to have the boys help me lift it up and then just kind of get it set underneath there, but I'm going to go ahead and install the other arms on the driver's side, which I haven't done yet. I took the bolt off of this side and you can see that it's fused on there like the other one was. Man, it's just, it fuses into that sleeve on the control arm, so I'm going to have to cut that stupid thing off. I spent a lot more time last time trying to get this thing off, and then figured out that once it's fused on there, the only thing you do is torch it, cut it, Any amount of hitting isn't going to help it at all, so I'm going to try to cut it off. Not too bad. Get it all cleaned up. You can see that this is exactly what happened to the other side. It's completely fused in that sleeve, and the only thing holding it is that rubber. So if you try to knock it out through the other side, it's just going to damage your ears, because that whole sleeve comes out and it can't come through the hole. So awesome. I don't want to damage the shocks, so I'm going to go ahead and remove them so they don't get bent or anything while we're trying to install it, and that'll allow me to treat that bottom without getting paint all over them too. Under the truck looks a lot better though, where I washed it, and this transmission got a little more cleaning to do, but it's looking better. I got the torsion bar ready after it's been in the hydronic electrolysis bath and got all the rust off of it, and then painted it with rust encapsulator and then some frame black. It looks like brand new. And I got the brackets that we had in the bath yesterday, and they got all the rust off of those. They look great, so they're ready to install also. So as the sun goes down in the Redneck Garage, we've got a lot accomplished. We've got the old A-arm cut off, got the differential over to the new frame ready to install, and that's going to be our next videos. I got to paint it, probably do that before I go to bed, so in the morning I'll be ready to get going back on it. Super excited about that. I'm going to try to cut off the old safety cap pieces in a little bit. I haven't been able to get to that, but I am going to get to that, see if I can save those, because that was a lot of money to put into that and not ever use those. So that's kind of on my to-do list. But I'm really excited. We can get going on getting the new frame assembled, everything moved over, one step closer to rolling it underneath. I'm David from the Redneck Garage. Keep turning wrenches.